What is the role of motivation, Shivoham?
I don't believe in motivation. You have to become that strong that this environment doesn't influence you.
What is the biggest mistake that you see people are making in their fitness journeys?
Obsession. Using the word addiction. At least I'm addicted to fitness. At least it's not drugs. Well, hello. You tell me, if you're going to keep challenging yourself, what do you think the body is going through? Fat is very important because it gives you support, it gives you protection, it insulates you.
Overall, aging also slows down.
Why is your skin drying up? Why is your skin becoming loose? Why is your skin becoming more wrinkled? Sunlight being one of the most important aspects, your skin will actually start glowing and becoming more younger. There are people at that level who are proper evolved yogis who are immune to the environment and the place. They are at such a stage where they go, they change the environment to their happening. They don't change based on the environment. What is the harm in saying I'm a fitness lover? I love fitness. Rather than saying I'm a fitness freak or I'm a fitness... You're a freak? No, who wants to be a freak? Who wants to be a freak? You smile and you watch the fat just go. It's not magic, it's actually science. The more you smile, the more you'll burn fat.
You have to suggest one exercise to people that will keep them fit. Shivoham, you have been a fitness trainer and a coach for the last 20 years and more. And I have recorded more than 20 episodes in the category of fitness for this podcast, the Journey Within podcast. Now, first question that's coming to my mind is that why should somebody listen to us talk about fitness? Because it is such a saturated category. So many people have spoken about it. Even I have done over 20 episodes. Why should people listen to us? What are they going to gain out of this conversation today?
Just recently I put up a story which actually got a lot of traction. I said that I give up my title of being called a body transformation specialist. I don't want to be a body transformation specialist anymore because it's not that I don't believe in it, but it's now time to get people to live better. Because body आपकी तब transform होगी जब आप ठीक से जियोगे. At the age of 17, 18, 20, it's easy to transform the body even with going out at night and drinking and partying and all of that. And we've done that and been in the best shape of our life. But as you keep getting older, how you live matters more than how you actually train and eat. Because training and eating is a very small aspect of life, of your lifestyle, of your day. Besides that, there are a lot of other things that matter. So hopefully what we speak about today is going to be nothing to do with, I mean, of course, we'll touch on a little bit aspects, the generic aspects of training, but not to do with how much weight to lift, how many reps to do, how much protein to eat, but how to live well.
Living well, of course, is a very important conversation, and there are many angles to it. We'll get into that also. But you said that you were a body composition expert at one point. So tell me, what is the body composition first of all? How do we understand it? Because आजकल की date में fitness per se has become obsession for people, right? And there are machines with which you can measure everything. आपकी body में कितना water है, कितना muscle है, कितना bone है, क्या density है, metabolic rate क्या है, और पता नहीं कौन-कौन से different indexes are there to measure everything. And this is all fitness related. And there are other blood markers which tell you more about your health also. So tell me, what is this body composition? Why one needs to understand it, and how do you change it?
Body composition is very simple. You basically see कि आपकी body में muscle कितना है और body fat कितना है. Because जब हम health की बात करते हैं, fitness की बात करते हैं, this is the two aspects that people worry about the most. They talk about reducing body fat and they talk about gaining muscle. These are the two most important aspects of it. So from that perspective, body composition matters because, so when we're talking about muscle, automatically we talk about blood glucose, managing blood glucose levels. We talk about insulin sensitivity. We talk about your joint health. We talk about heart health. the muscle matters a lot. Because again, when you're talking about any kind of illness or any kind of disease, it's insulin resistance that is usually the cause of every single thing. And we can speak more in detail about that later. And when we speak about fat, fat is not the enemy. Fat is very important because fat is what basically gives you support, it gives you protection, it insulates you, it protects your vital organs, gives it the energy, it stores energy so that tomorrow when you don't have energy, there is a fuel source available. And at the same time, it is also responsible for balancing your hormones in the body. So, fat is a very crucial aspect. Excess of fat is basically where the problem comes in. So, managing body composition is, from a fitness level, from a well being level, is very important.
You talk about the importance of muscle and gaining muscle in the body. So let's dissect this conversation. पहले टाइम पे वेट लॉस वाज द टर्म जो बोलते थे कि 25 किलो वेट लॉस करना है, कैसे करेंगे. Then came a term fat loss, where people understood that losing weight should not be the goal, because when you lose weight, you lose muscle also, which is not a good thing. Then people understood fat loss, that we have to target fat. Now, and we have to retain muscle. So let's talk about muscle as such. Of course, we know the general function of the muscle in the body, etc. But from a fitness standpoint, what is the idea of muscle, gaining muscle, and also the impact of age on the muscle, and the impact of training on muscles, and how much should one train to build healthy muscles?
Yeah, as we all know, when we look at the human body, muscle is present everywhere. And literally, muscle is, they say that muscle is metabolically alive, which means that it is actually a living tissue. Now, of course, when we talk about muscle and fat and everything in Ayurveda, muscle and fat are one of the 7 dhatus, the 7 tissues. And each of the tissue has a certain responsibility, and each of the tissues plays a very important role when it comes to the essence of health, what we call, or what Ayurveda calls, ojas. So all the nutrition flows from one tissue to the next like a filter system. At the end, what comes out of the reproductive tissue is basically what's ojas. Ojas is the essence of your health, your vitality, your immunity, and everything. And in that, muscle and fat are one aspects of it. Now, when we look at muscle and we're saying that it's metabolically alive, you need to feed it with the right amount of amino acids, with the right kind of nutrition. And at the same time, you also need to exercise it. Exercise doesn't mean you lift 300 kgs, 500 kgs, you lift 10 days a week, all of that, 10 times a week and everything. You just need to give it enough of a trigger, enough of a stimulation. And weight training is a stimulation, which basically starts different processes within the muscle. Now, muscle is also the biggest glucose tank in your body. Out of the 3 macronutrients, when we talk protein, carbs, and fat, protein gets broken down into amino acids, carbs gets broken down into glucose, and then, of course, your fats get into fatty acids. Out of this, carbohydrates, which enter your system and get broken down into glucose and get stored as glycogen, muscle stores the majority of it. The reason why this is important is because the only 2 other places where muscle can store glycogen, the body can store glucose as glycogen, one is in the liver, which is very limited, and the other is the fat. Clearly, if too much gets stored in the fat cells, then you will become fatter. But the goal is not that. The goal is to store all that food in some place which is able to hold it without any kind of negative feedback. So the muscle is basically what does that. And at the same time, also because you're using muscle all the time. Even when you're not exercising, you're still using muscle to maintain posture, to maintain structure. You need muscle. To work that muscle, you need energy. And that's where glucose comes in. So muscle, literally, the reason why they say that work on building more muscle is so that your body can store all that excess glucose as glycogen rather than the liver, which is very limited, and the fat. Fat में जितना जाएगा उतना जाएगा, but उससे ज़्यादा जाएगा, then that's the problem.
So there are 2 angles to muscle building also. One is what you eat, which is protein, that there is so much of talk about. And the second is the training. strength training, lifting weights, resistance training, etc., etc. There are two aspects to building your muscles. Now, what happens with age? How does one kind of modify their current lifestyle? When I say lifestyle, I mean eating patterns and also the workouts to retain the muscle. Because, like you said, muscle is used in everything that we do, right?
So before we understand that, again, these questions are very superficial questions. When you ask, hey, what kind of weight training should I do? How much weight training should I do? How much protein should I have? How much food should I have? How many meals should I have? And when you talk about age. So when we're discussing all these things, it is important to understand why we need to discuss this. And the most important aspect is from the state of from the state of energy. What is energy? Energy is the amount of food that you consume and then the amount of food that your body produces or uses to do certain things. The part of the body that produces energy, technically nothing is getting produced because we know about energy that cannot be created nor destroyed, it only gets transformed. So food energy or chemical energy is transformed into electrical energy within the cell in something which is called as a mitochondria. Now, the mitochondria is basically at the bottom of everything. The mitochondria literally receives signals from the surrounding. It tells the nucleus in the cell where your DNA is present that this is a signal that I'm receiving, this is what we need to do. Based on that signal, the nucleus, the DNA in the nucleus replicates certain aspects of it. There's protein folding, there's gene replication, all of that happens, and enzymes are created or certain hormones are created. Basically, it sends a signal to the rest of the body that, okay, now you do this, you do this, you do this, you do that, based on the signals that we are receiving. Mitochondria, of course, don't last forever. They have a certain lifespan. All right. So, depending on how well you live, at certain times the mitochondria will start to die eventually. That is how aging happens. But you can prevent aging by improving the health of every single mitochondria. You have trillions of cells. Your trillions of cells have thousands, hundreds and thousands of mitochondria. If you efficiently look after the health of a mitochondria, then by default you will also work on the aging. When we're talking about training and food are just two signals of all the other signals which are available. You weight train. Because of weight training, your mitochondria feels the need to utilize more energy. Something happens which is called as mitochondrial biogenesis, which is the creation of new mitochondria. When you do zone 2 cardio, again, the density of the mitochondria improves. So now you have more machinery to produce more energy efficiently. That means you won't get as tired. Then when it comes to eating, fasting is a very important aspect of eating. What fasting does in the body is basically something which is, it's responsible for recycling. So we have something which is called as autophagy and mitophagy. Mitophagy and autophagy is basically clearing of all the dead cells and the dead mitochondria. Because when something is dying, if you don't replace it, something new cannot come back. So if you are only working on mitochondrial biogenesis, improving the number of mitochondria, but you're not making space for the new ones to come, you are creating clutter. So fasting has to be there as a tool. So fasting again is a tool. You're using that to create space. You're doing weight training to get new mitochondria. So by default, you are literally recycling and rejuvenating the system from within using tools as weight training, slow your zone 2 cardio, and using tools as feeding and your fasting. So this is where aging and then of course weight training and nutrition kind of come together. When you look at it from a cellular perspective, when you look at it from the angle of the point of view of a mitochondria.
So when usually one talks about aging or longevity, usually talk about the basic signs of aging that we see in our physical body.
Correct.
Which is you get tired more, you
Correct.
have joint pains, you have wrinkles on your face, and all of those clear, very simple markers of that you're aging.
Correct.
But here we are talking about the cellular level health of your body.
Correct.
And if that improves, by virtue of it, your overall aging also slows down.
Because think about it, why is your skin drying up? Why is your skin becoming loose? Why is your skin becoming more wrinkled? Because the mitochondria in your skin is basically losing its health. And that is why people try to fix it with collagen and all of that. But what you're doing is just applying a band aid. Collagen is like a band aid, which is just kind of holding what is already falling apart. But what you need to do is you actually need to rejuvenate it by certain practices. So, of course, people talk about red light therapy and infrared light and all of that, but we have the sun. Yes, agree. There are some places on earth where the sun shines very rarely and you barely get to see daylight. But if you're living in India, you're living anywhere along the tropical areas or in the equator, you have plenty of sun. And the amount of sunlight that you can get, and more than that, the pran in the sun that we forget. People talk about again these toys, but they lack we are made of the sunlight. So if you just stand for 10 minutes in actual sunlight, sunrise, sunset, midday sun, you will get much more than what these toys are giving you. These toys are beneficial for someone who does not get exposure to sun, for someone who's trying to heal from an injury. So that's okay. But again, the minute you start improving things from in your daily life, sunlight being one of the most important aspects, your skin will actually start glowing and becoming more younger.
You know, what we are talking about here, Shivoham, is something which is very basic. You know, it's like coming back to the roots kind of a thing. We are getting stuck in these fancy ideas, like you said, infrared facials and I know vampire facial and this peptide therapy and I don't know what not is there for the skin health, facial skin health and all of that. But you've raised such a beautiful point that, accessing health because of so much of vanity being attached to fitness has become something which is expensive, which some people can access and some cannot. Like if you talk about strength training also, there's so many kinds of strength training, there's so many kinds of resistance training, and the prices for all of these classes vary. The prices for the coaches also vary to an upward of any amount these days. So there has become this idea that fitness is accessible to some people and it is not to some people, right? Because I think somewhere we are getting confused that basics and foundations remain the same. What we have talked about in this conversation so far is, of course, we've talked about training, we've talked about fasting, we've talked about importance of sunlight, which anybody can access. You don't need to go to a very fancy gym or have heavy duty equipment.
I've always said it. Fitness was never meant to be. It's not rocket science, and being fit, you can actually do it for free. I am not kidding. I mean, yes, okay, I'm kind of saying you can do it for free by taking myself out of the equation, but I, as a coach, am here to guide people. And yes, people who want to train with me personally, where they want a structured weight training program, they want a structured nutrition plan, they want a structured lifestyle plan, help them with basically what is falling apart and what needs to do more. Yes, we're there for that. But for a person who's healthy, it's actually free. When we talk about lifestyle reset, which is one of my programs which I do, we talk about sleep. We talk about basically sleeping at the right time, waking up at the right time. No trainer is going to come home and read you a bedtime story and put you to sleep.
And even if somebody reads, what's the guarantee you'll sleep?
Yeah,
something that you got to work on.
You
right?
just need to do it yourself. Then
Right.
you wake up in the morning and you get some sunlight. You don't need to go anywhere. Yes, today the way everything is, maybe someone, but people don't understand. They don't need to be directly in the sunlight. They just need to be outdoor where light is present between that 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Then when we talk about grounding, just walking barefoot on earth, not on concrete or wood or marble, but literally sand or a beach or grass. And I'm pretty sure somewhere or the other, people can find some grassy patch just to put their feet in. Breathing. Yes, people say pollution, but aren't you still breathing? Even if it's pollution, have you held your breath? No. But what you can do is actually breathe properly. There are certain pranayams that you can do that will help you in the state where we are today, will help you make your lungs stronger so that you can breathe more oxygen. And again, training wise, again, from a health perspective, Even if you just do basic dand, Surya Namaskar, if you do basic squats to work your lower body, you do some plank and sit ups to work your abdomen, you do some skipping or mountain climbers to work your cardio, you have a proper resistance training, cardio, HIIT program done for you. The body doesn't care whether Shivoham is coaching you or Arnold Schwarzenegger is coaching you. The body cares, have you given me enough resistance? Have you got my heart rate up to a certain level? Have you made me sweat a little bit and get my breath out? Yes, great. You've achieved your goal for the day. Same thing for food. How difficult is food? It is not difficult to have some form of protein, some form of carbs at the right time, in the right amount. Again,
Shivoham, there is so much confusion around food also when we talk about eating right. As simple as it sounds, and we talk about the foundation of food, we talk about what is the basic composition of food should be, what is a healthy balanced thali should look like, and all of that. And these conversations are explored, I don't know, millions of times in the recent few years. I don't know why we are so confused about getting our food right. And while you were talking about all these things, कि हमको क्या क्या रीसेट करना है, जिसमें आप बात कर रहे हो रेस्ट की, रिकवरी की, आप बात कर रहे हो स्लीपिंग की. I was thinking from the other side that why one is not able to sleep well, why one is not able to rest in the way rest looks like, why one is not able to eat in the way one should eat,
very simple.
and all of that. And somewhere all of this also ties to how well you are mentally.
Oh, of course.
It's not just about physical fitness, because what happens or what has unfortunately happened over the years is because we have become more aware. There is 10 kinds of screens in front of us that tell us that अरे ये fit body नहीं है, fitness नहीं होगा तो ये हो जाएगा वो हो जाएगा, ये consequences हैं, बहुत सारे blood markers आ गए हैं, बहुत सारे बीमारियों की हमें पता है. तो we know that we need to stay fit, but we associate it only with the physical part of your health part of your whole being. But why all of these markers that you were talking about, lifestyle reset, why we are not sleeping on time, why we are not eating well, why the rest is not feeling like rest, why we are not consistent with our practices, why we are not able to go out in the sun, all of this somewhere ties to bad habits and lack of discipline, but it also is coming from a space of not having a very good mental health. What are your thoughts here?
I just think it is, of course, mind plays a very important role, and I will scream that on the top of my voice from the tallest building possible that it is first the mind.
I'll join you there.
It is first the mind and then the body, because one very simple thing, one very important reason why someone can't fall asleep is because they cannot let go. When we're saying let go, we're not talking about trauma or pain or anything. They just can't let their mind be. They are overstimulated with conversations of work. They're overstimulated with conversations and with thoughts of insecurities or whatever. They're not able to let go, because of which they cannot fall asleep. So there are certain practices. My wife Vrinda, she basically is a mental well-being coach, and this is what she does with people. And people need to understand, because whether you like it or not, unless and until you don't address the mind, there is no way you will ever be fit. No way. I mean, you can try the training with the best trainers. You can try eating food from Michelin star restaurants and chefs, organic food, but you can use all the toys and all the peptides in the world. But if you cannot control your thoughts and your emotions, and you can't control your environment, I'm sorry, but there's no way around it. There's no shortcut to it.
Very true. Why I brought out this angle was also because for you, for me, for a lot of people who worked in the space of fitness and well-being in particular, like I did a fair amount of work in the space of yoga. You've done reasonably enough work in the space of fitness, gymming, strength training, etc., right? Why slowly you've now talking about living well, I talk about emotional intelligence and mindset. Why are we shifting to this side? Because physical fitness, I feel, is one very small speck of your overall well-being when you see it from that standpoint. Of course, I can understand if somebody is 120 kilos listening to this conversation, for them, their primary goal and the only objective in life is to lose those 40 kilos, 50 kilos, right? I can understand that they're not thinking about mindset right now. They're thinking about all the other peripherals, which is like, मैं कितने दिन में 5 बार खाना खाऊं, छोटे छोटे मील्स खाऊं, या 3 बड़े खाऊं, या ब्रेकफास्ट स्किप करूं, या मैं 16/8 का इंटरमिटेंट कर लूं, या मैं ये कर लूं. They are thinking of all of these, tools and peripherals which are there to maintaining your health for somebody who's that weight. But somebody who is okay-ish, who is थोड़ा बहुत 15-20-50-30% वेट ज़्यादा है, 70 होना चाहिए था, 85 हो, उस इंसान के लिए मुझे लगता है माइंडसेट को टारगेट करना ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है दैन ओनली गोइंग आफ्टर फिटनेस. बिकॉज दीज पीपल आई सी, they come back to their, even if they lose weight, even if they go to gym, they're not able to stay consistent with those practices because somewhere you're not attacking the mind, and your weight and your whatever you're measuring is not so bad also that it throws you off your game. You know what I'm saying? So वो इतना भी नहीं है कि आपके लिए वो एक obsession है, लेकिन वो इतना है कि आप अगर mindset से lead नहीं करोगे तो it will not go off. It will keep coming back. It will keep coming back.
It's very simple. People start things off for the wrong reasons. And, unless and until you don't have clarity about why you're doing what you're doing, there is no way that you will ever be sustainable in any kind of a practice. So, like we were speaking earlier, when we talk about discipline, I don't think there is the word discipline needs to be used. Today it's been overused and overabused. But think about it. When we say as a child I got disciplined, I didn't have a choice. I was a swimmer. So when I used to swim, I started competing at the age of 5. And every morning at 4:35, my dad would wake me up and we'd go to the pool and I'd swim. I'd go to school, I'd come back, I'd swim. There was no choice. I was just doing it. I didn't know it's good, it's bad, it's what. I was just supposed to do it. And because I was doing it and I did it for 10 years or 15 years, it became a part of who I am. And that by default, waking up early became a part of me. I didn't have to become disciplined in waking up. It was just who I became, who I was. But yes, somewhere I did understand that, okay, I need to go to the gym or I need to train. Because I'm talking about 25, 30 years back, all these topics, nothing was there. No one was talking about health, fitness, wellness, none of that. It was just that, yes, you like training, that was it. So if somebody understand today, for an adult to understand discipline, they just need to understand the importance of why they need to do something. So if you understood the importance of eating correctly, if you understood the importance why you need to do a little bit of resistance training, if you understood the importance why you need to sleep on time and wake up on time, you would not be a rebel without a cause. You would not be a stubborn person, and you would just do what is needed because you know the importance of it. You wouldn't need to hear it from 10 podcasts. One podcast or one line or one book or one reminder would be enough. But unfortunately, today that is not enough because people think, oh, it can't be that simple. But living life well is actually very simple. We have made it complicated by trying to expect too much, by trying to compete too much. We have made it complicated for ourselves. If we just do literally what we love to do every single day, we wake up, we train, we eat well, we do our job, we come back home, we sleep, you will live well.
It's a very simple formula to fitness is what you're trying to
not
say
even to
here.
fitness, just to living well. I mean, if somebody has a goal of being fit, that's one thing. Someone has a goal of being a bodybuilder, he would have to work that hard. He has a choice not to be a bodybuilder. But somewhere he chooses to be that, for which he has to do extra work.
Like whoever chooses whatever as their career plans or whatever they like, they have to put in work there. That is of course a valid conversation. While you were saying that listening to so many podcasts, so many books and all of that is not needed, what we're talking about is correcting the foundation to living well. I feel that why people get why people complicate the idea of fitness or living well is also because we are somewhere stuck with what and hows more than the why. We are stuck with what should I do, what course, what kind of trainer, what kind of food, or how I will lose this much, how this will happen, how this much muscle will come, all of that, how I will do those pull-ups and all of that. We're associating ourselves too much with the what and hows of it, and what we should come back to is the why, what you were talking about, that why do you want to get fit, and your answers lie there. Like for some people it is more to do with the physical aspect of things, that I want to run a 10K, or I want to do a marathon, or I want to do push-ups and pull-ups and all of that. For some people the why could be, I want to live healthy, and of course there are 10 whys, 10 answers to that, and out of that you have to choose what answer is kind of.
You'll be surprised. Everyone's answer will be the same. I'll tell you why. Why do you want to be fit? I want to be fit because I want to run a marathon. Okay. First question. Let's go one more question down. Why do you want to run a 10K? I want to run a 10K so that I can prove myself, and people will validate me, they'll clap for me, they'll feel happy for me, I'll feel happy for myself. Great. Okay. Why do you want people to validate you? Why do you want to prove anything? So that I'll be happy. So whether it does not matter whether it is weight loss, and we're not talking from a fitness perspective, whether it is extreme weight loss, whether it is extreme muscle growth, whether it is an achievement in sports, whether it is anything, if you go down and keep answering till you finally reach the last question, and you usually reach the last question in 2 or 3 steps, which will be because I want to be happy. But if you understand that for you to be happy, you don't need to run a 10K, because you will be happy definitely when you get that certificate of completion and you put it on Instagram. But after the 10K, you'll be like, now I want to run a 15K. Now I want to run a 21K. Now I want to run 42. Now I want to run a lay. Now I basically want to do something else. So the point is, if it ended at that first 10K, not a problem. But unfortunately, for a lot of people, it does not stop at the first 10K. It does not stop at the first 15% body fat. It goes to 12, goes to 9, goes to 8. They want to go lower. Then there is some other goal. People are always chasing something. They want some challenge. They cannot be okay with where they are.
So what is so wrong with the idea of challenging yourself?
So there's nothing wrong. Then face the consequence.
What are the consequences?
You tell me, if you're going to keep challenging yourself, what do you think the body is going through?
Body is going through a lot of pain. Body
Exactly.
Is going through a lot of...
So there are only 2 signals based on our biological and DNA programming, based on all the 10,000 years back of Stone Age and caveman. There are only 2 situations which your body recognizes. It either recognizes safety, or it recognizes a threat or survival. Safety means I have plenty of food. Safety means I'm in my community. I'm with my family. Safety means there is light. Safety means that there is no animal chasing us. Safety means I'm in a place where there's enough water and everything, and I'm safe.
Basically, I have resources.
I have resources and I have abundance of it. I don't have scarcity. And then there is no war, there is no competition, there is no comparison. So automatically the body feels the need to repair whatever was broken. The body feels the need to grow, get better, and you can actually focus and put those energies towards a higher purpose. But if you're always living, not forget always, if majority of your time you're living in a survival mode, which is challenges, which is competition, which is comparison, which is fasting, which is extreme workouts, deadlines, work pressure, all of that, validation from outside. If you're always doing that, the body feels threatened. The body feels in a survival mode. When it feels in a survival mode, automatically it switches to holding things back. It starts conserving energy. It starts storing energy. You end up gaining weight. It become a lot of different things start going wrong within the body. You're always in a fight or flight mode. You're never in a safe and digest and recover mode. You're always in fight or flight. Digestion goes for a toss. Your nervous system goes for a toss. Chronic fatigue starts taking over. Extreme stress takes over. You become insulin resistant. You become diabetic. A lot of things happen just because you are not allowing your body to feel safe. And that is why continuously wanting to challenge yourself. But then again, when we say continuously challenging yourself, when we say in weight training aspects, we talk about progressive overload. For somebody who wants to grow, progressive overload is a very healthy term. It means that you are increasing the weight or some factor of training in a very small aspect every single time so that the body recognizes this stress. And this stress is something which is called as hormesis. It's a good stress.
It's not a threat to the
It's not a
body.
threat. It's just enough so that the body feels the need to progress by adapting to it. Adapting how? By becoming stronger, by becoming fitter, by becoming faster. So as long as you're doing from a 10K, you go to 11K, and that 11K is not attached to validation, not attached to proving something to society, that's fine. You can run a 10K all your life and you will be absolutely fine. And then from 10K, you move gradually, you move to a 12, you move to a 15. Not a problem because the body has adapted. You have given it enough time to adapt. But here we are going one challenge after the other. So, yes, there is a moment of activity and challenge, but then there has to be just the right amount of time, even for resting, relaxing, and recovery. If that doesn't happen and just challenges keep on piling up, the body's not getting time to adapt. And that's where stress becomes a problem. So, having a challenge in life, having a milestone to cross is not a bad thing. But between two milestones, you need to take some time off. You need to allow the body to be okay with that milestone, adapt to it, live with it, and then move on further.
Part of this conversation is very important for people who are looking for fast results, who are looking to do too much in too less time, or who want to, suddenly today stress their body by doing 10 things all at once. A lot of people want to take their fitness resolutions and how it typically looks like. And that's why I think most of them fail within the first 2 weeks and 2 months of taking it, that you give too much stress to your body in terms of physical activity. Then mentally also you want to, have those kind of targets. Then you want to sleep also well, you want to wake up also at a good time, you want to see the sunlight also, you want to do grounding practices, you want to include breath work also, you want to do cardio as well, you want to lift weights also. Amidst all of that, you want to look good, you want to have your job intact, you want to have your family, all of that.
Much.
You're bringing too much to one fitness angle. And what we were talking about, what you were just saying, that running that 10K is also good enough to keep you fit for your entire life. And I would say that not even 10K. I think if you run 3, 4K also, 2K also consistently, that builds over time, right? You don't need to do a 21K or a 42K.
Absolutely.
If that challenges you and that makes you feel happy, probably go ahead and all of that. But
There's no need to prove anything to yourself.
so where is your fitness goal coming from is a deeper question one needs to ask themselves, because a lot of us, especially people who are in their 20s and even in their 30s, a lot of our goals come from our peers. And a lot of what our peers is also coming from what their peers are doing. And essentially this bubble of social media network that we live within.
It's all conditioning. It's all, first it was muscle and fitness magazines, then it was a little bit of the internet, and then today it is, I mean, it's unlimited.
It's madness.
It's
There's no end
infinite.
to it.
So there is someone in some small part of some tribal village doing something which now you want to start doing. Why? What's the need? Why can't you just be? But that is, I mean, okay, again, I might be different, but I feel it is my responsibility, because people say, "Arey sir, but you to have done everything. You've done Ironman, you've done this, you've done that." I said, yes, but that was how many years back? You asked me to do that again. I will never do it because I don't need to do it. Then people say, sir, but you don't need to because you've already kind of proven yourself. Well, in my mind, I can still not be enough. I would still want to train the next best person, do the next best thing. I can still keep chasing goals left, right, and center. but I am absolutely okay where I am. That doesn't mean I don't manifest. That doesn't mean I don't eat well. Doesn't mean I don't train well. Doesn't mean I don't follow up with my marketing team to make sure that they're getting a better audience every single time. So you do what is necessary, but not from a sense of chase. You do because that is what you are. Otherwise, you're born to do. You're born to work. You're born to live well, and that is what you're trying to do.
What you're basically trying to say, or what I'm hearing in your conversation, is that simplify your life, simplify the idea of fitness, simplify the idea of your well-being also.
Yes.
Instead of loading it with 100 ideas, like, I have put on a lot of weight after my pregnancy, after having my baby girl. And, you know, as much as work I have done in this space myself, I have been into this fitness yoga space for the last 14 years, right? So I know reasonably enough things and stuff. But even then, so when you hear things from people, it has an impact on your mind. See which are the Pilates, latest Pilates classes happening around me. Where is this animal flow happening? That is the new thing. Where is this happening? Where is that happening? You try to bring in all of these elements. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. They're
No,
fun also.
there's nothing wrong, because one simple thing we need to understand: we are living in creation. Creation, the word itself means to create. That means there is something new always going to be created. And that is basically the concept of work. What people do, if today it's this, tomorrow it is going to be this plus this, or this with a variant of this. And there's absolutely nothing wrong in that. Again, people are doing that because it's their job to do it. But as a consumer, as an individual, you need to understand, if you're doing it from a space of wellness, then literally living simply is enough.
Basically, your idea of fitness does not hang on that going to that Pilates class or that gym or that workshop.
No, do
or
it if
that-
you have to for an
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't? I mean, look, again, I'm not talking about myself, but people want an experience. And life is all about getting a different experience. But the only thing is, the catch 22 is that it never ends.
Yeah.
So today it is this experience, tomorrow it is this same experience, but somewhere else. अरे नहीं, but ये सेम कंपटीशन अभी क्रूज
अभी
पे हो रहा है,
योगा
नहीं नहीं
कराए
मुझे
तो
करना
कराए,
है.
लेकिन फिर पूल में कराओ, पूल योगा कराओ,
So-
something like
So
that.
exactly. So again, nothing wrong. This is basically what marketing and everything does, and this is fine. But as a person, you need to be smart enough to understand that if you like yoga, if you like Pilates, if you like rowing, running, animal flow, then stick to the basic and the simplicity of Pilates. Don't try to look, because then what happens? You went to Pilates for fat loss. But now fat loss has become an excuse for you to try 10 different things. फैट लॉस हो रहा कुछ नहीं है, बट अभी नहीं मुझे बोला कि वो वाले पिलाटेस से और फैट लॉस होगा, तो देन दैट, सो you went there for the right intention. You joined Pilates, you joined yoga, you joined animal flow for mobility, for flexibility, for better movement. Movement is medicine. Perfect, amazing. But now that is not enough. When that is enough, but no, now you want a different experience.
Yeah, so
because you
basically
find
do it for the
boring.
fun part of it.
Do it for
experience.
do it for what the purpose is.
Yeah.
Because everyone is not going to enjoy weight training. Some person likes weight training, some person likes yoga, some person. This is all complete different temperaments of every single person, which is fine. But then stick to that.
So basically the foundation is not going to change.
No.
Whatever you wish to achieve in your fitness journey, could be vitality, could be flexibility, could be strength, could be whatever, right? The foundation is not going to change for that. You can do all the experimental stuff. You can have fun with your workouts. You can have fun. You can be a part of certain communities, where you make these friends, where you have access to these kind of conversations and all of that. There's no harm in that. But what you're saying is that the foundation remains the same for somebody who's listening to this conversation.
There is no harm in anything. But know for yourself that if it is an experience that you chase, then it's never going to be enough. Because again, today I'm a part of the Pilates community. Tomorrow I'm a part of this tech community. Tomorrow I'm a part of the Nike running club community. I'm a part of that community. And what do? You go to all these communities and you talk the same thing to different people. So where, like, what was your purpose?
What is the whole purpose of doing all this?
So go be a part of a community. Man was supposed to be a social human being. But then if you're a part of a community, do it for the right reasons and don't chase an experience. Oh, that those guys are doing a amazing thing on some island. I want to go there. It's an experience. You were doing the same thing in a cafe in Bandra or in Delhi. Why wasn't that enough? That was a community.
So, what you're basically trying to say, Shivoham, or what I'm hearing in your conversation is again the mindset. How your mind is understanding and associating with that particular activity as fitness, right? How it is associating. Is it really understanding the foundation and taking that and building itself, or is it just chasing for the next,
Correct. Because
fun thing?
the more you're going to stimulate your mind, you think you meet with 100 people every single day, talk to 100 people every single day, you think that their energies, their conversations don't affect you. You think you're going to go back home and not think about, oh, Mr. X said this, Mr. Y said this, Mr. B was quite beautiful. You think you're immune to that? No, you're not. You are not immune to your environment. You are not at that level. There are people at that level who are proper evolved yogis who are immune to the environment and the place. They are at such a stage where they go, they change the environment to their happening. They don't change based on the environment. So till you reach that state, you are not immune to it. So you go back home, you are carrying the energies and thoughts and emotions of 100 people with you. And when we talk about health and well-being, we all know that a human being is an energy being. And what we're trying to do through every single aspect of our life, whether it is waking up early, the sunrise, the grounding, the food, the training, social relationships, families, everything, is trying to raise our own positive frequency of energy. Everything else that we do, contradictory to this, is lowering the energy. Every single day, you wake up with 100 rupees of energy. If you are going to mingle with 100 people, you are going to end up taking a loan. Why do you think you get so tired? You come home and you're like, oh my God, I'm pretty exhausted. Next 2 days, you don't meet anyone because there was a bank holiday and no one could get out. And third day, you're like, I feel so good. Yes, because that 100 rupees of energy was with you throughout and became 200. So energies of people do affect you. Conversations do affect you. Emotions do affect you. So if you are trying to be healthy in the true sense, which is increasing your own energy level, you will control your environment. You will try to not overstimulate your senses with things.
Shiva, tell me one thing. Somebody who's listening to this conversation and they want to start their fitness journey. Now they have heard us for long enough to know what are the do's and the don'ts, but you have to give a concise answer to this. How should one start their fitness journey today? What are the do's
depends.
and don'ts?
It depends where you already are. It depends. First and foremost, forget anything else. Identify your purpose. Be clear of what you want to start, why you want to start it. Yes, I'm not saying weight loss and muscle gain is not a good intent. It's a very good intent. But at the same time, you have to see your lifestyle. How much time are you able to give? Don't expect and don't try to what do you say?
Compensate.
Over promise. Because if you end up over promising yourself and you don't end up doing it, then of course you're going to get demotivated and you're going to fall off. So
What is the
start
role of
simple.
motivation, Shivoham?
I
Sorry
don't
to cut
believe in
you there.
motivation.
Yeah, because when
Again, like I said,
fitness and motivation are two words that go
Yeah,
along for a lot of people.
for a bumper sticker and for an
What
Instagram
is
reel
motivation?
and for what is motivation? Motivation, so many people have said it. Motivation is like a spark. After that, what basically helps you continue on your journey is your real purpose. You need a spark, but I won't call it motivation. First, when you identified what you like, for example, I didn't know, but I was ready to change. I'm talking about my entire transformation from the person who I was to the person who I am. I didn't know what I wanted, but I was ready for it. After I met Vrinda and listening to her conversations, she didn't motivate me. She just spoke about her experiences and she just spoke about life. But listening, I didn't even have anything to share with her. But listening to her, I realized what my purpose was. I didn't get motivated. She didn't spark anything. We were just having a conversation. And somewhere, when you sit quiet, when you sit alone, it just comes to you. And that's literally what happened. And then she asked me to read the book Autobiography of a Yogi. Then she finally made me meet my Sadguru, because I told her I want to meet that man. I saw the poster in a picture of our guru in her office, and I said, I want to meet him. Who is this? She said, no, first you read the book. So I read the book, The Autobiography of a Yogi. Then she took me to meet him, and boom, he literally, I mean, he ignited the fire in what a way. But there was no motivation, because then my purpose became, after meeting him, my purpose became even more clearer. So
What did your purpose then become?
it was just, I I just want to, I don't know how to say it. I'm done with whatever you call
The metrics.
the life and death and the rebirth. I'm done. I mean, it's okay. I just want to, like he said, Guru Nath's one line is, and his main line is, the only purpose of man's sojourn on this earth is to seek God. And I think that is literally what it is. So fitness hai, lifestyle hai, kaam kar rahe hai, clients take us on their personal private jets and all of that. It's an experience. But this is what spirituality teaches, that when you don't chase it, you literally end up getting all the experiences you've somewhere wanted.
So basically, you become that magnet that attracts all of this by virtue of not being somebody who's chasing after these experiences.
Absolutely.
You know, I had a big smile on my face when you were talking about Vrinda. You've talked about her a couple of times in this conversation. And I met Vrinda last year and we did a podcast with her as
Yes.
well. And it's a beautiful, fascinating conversation. I'll link that also somewhere in the comment section or wherever, and people can go and watch that conversation as well. You know, I feel, you know, we're talking about mental health and somewhere you've talked about Vrinda. So the importance of relationships and the right relationships in your life also moves you towards
Oh, absolutely.
your fitness journeys, your purpose journey, your, you know, overall well-being basically.
100%. I mean, birds of the same feather flock together. It's as simple as that. And like I said, until and unless you are that strong, and Vrinda has told me this many times. So when I was trying to change who I was from a person drinking, partying, drugs, all that kind of stuff, she said, first, you have to become that strong that this environment doesn't influence you. And I literally boycotted myself out of everything. I stopped going out. I stopped drinking. I stopped literally going out, socializing, anything whatsoever. I would just sit at home. I'd go to work. I'd come back. I would not go out anywhere. And it was so strong. It was so intense that I could not handle any frivolous conversations, whether it was my parents, whether it was anybody. I just couldn't handle it until somewhere it got established, and then you could let in a little bit of the so called small talk, frivolous. And today it's fine. Today there is more of it from the other side, but it doesn't affect us. So on your path to whether it's the health, whether it's wellness, whether it's fitness, whether it's war, whether it's what bank robbery, doesn't matter what it is. If you are going to associate with those kind of people, forget people, no judgment, with that energy, you are going to flow in that energy. Unless your energies are that strong that you can oppose and move in the opposite. People say, no, go with the flow. Nah, you don't go with the flow till you find the right source taking you to the main source. You can flow in a gutter. That means you're going to just go with the flow. You can flow in the Ganges in a beautiful stream, yes, which is probably taking you towards divinity. Then, of course, flow with it. So, when you're in the presence of your Sadguru, you will just sit and you'll flow.
This is the problem with blanket statements. Go with the flow is like a
Exactly.
mantra. But one has to really sit back and evaluate for themselves. I see a lot of people, clients who come to me. Most of the problems that I kind of help people with is like 70-80% of it is relationships, right? I'm an emotional intelligence and mindset coach, and people come to me with their problems. And a lot of problems start because people just went with the flow. And they kept going with the flow because vibe aa rahi hai. We're vibing and all of that. So one has to be smart enough, one has to be self-aware enough to know what the flow really means, what this flow is right now, and where is it taking you. And if you want to be in this flow, you want to change the stream and go in some other flow. Because, what we are discussing here is energy. And certainly things which are little or a lot harmful for you in certain manners, they're heavier energies and they have more pull, easier pull towards you, right? They pull you towards themselves easily. Something like sleeping late, so easy to sleep late, no? It's not so difficult. You watch a couple of movies, you talk to somebody on phone, you go out and party and whatever. It's so easy to not sleep in today's time, right? Which was used to be called completely the opposite.
Correct.
If you go a few years back,
Correct.
a few 100 years back and stuff, right? So things like that, as simple as that you can go with the flow and mess up your life completely, or you can question the flow and change the lane completely and go in some other flow. So one needs
That's
to kind
because
of
that's because you're, I mean, and who does not? Everyone in their initial states of relationship, they're vibing either at a physical level or a mental level, which is very normal. But again, unless and until your vibing does not become at a spiritual level, you will always be dissatisfied, and then you'll be like, abhi to bahut late ho gaya.
Shivam, tell me one thing. Like you said, you used to have a completely different life earlier and you have a different life now. What is the role of aging in that? Because as you age, there is a certain level of maturity that comes to you. There are certain experiences that you go through. Some of them churn you into this different version of yourself that you become. That's fine. If somebody is 45, 40, 50, 55 listening to this conversation, they probably can relate to it. How does a 20-year-old relate to this conversation where whatever you are saying is too boring, whatever you are saying is too basic, whatever you are saying is completely opposite of what they want to do and experience today? Why should they
It
listen to
is
you?
routine is boring, but routine is basically what gets you to success. I mean, any successful person, you can watch, you can read biographies, watch documentaries of any successful person. One thing that they did was they did the same thing over and over again. I don't know who said it. Did Bruce Lee say it? Did somebody else say it? He said, I'm not afraid of the man who knows 1,000 kicks. I'm afraid of
Thousand
the man
punches,
who practices that one kick 1,000
a
times.
thousand times.
So it is boring. And again, when you talk about aging, the thought came the other day, what is the difference between the body and the mind? And then, of course, eventually the soul. The soul is, of course, the same. It doesn't get enriched or anything, but it's the same. With aging, the body becomes dry, becomes, wrinkled up, becomes saggy. It's going to die. It's decaying and dying. The mind, on the other hand, if you give it the right tools, can be so vibrant till the last day, unlike the body, which then, of course, fuels the soul that all the experiences, again, if your entire life has been spent in partying and all these extracurricular activities, the mind is going to be that way. It's not going to be a fertile mind. But if you, because everything is
It's going to
energy,
be a
no?
distracted mind,
Everything
basically.
is energy. When we talk about sattva, rajas, and tamas, the goal is to reach sattvic, is to reach sattva. But you can't jump from tamas to sattva. In our guru's words, again, it is from tamas to rajas, rajas to sattva. So initially, when you're born, there is hardly any rajasic. You're very tamasic when you're born because you're just in one position. You're stable. You're not lazy. You're just there. There's no movement. As you grow up, the rajasic qualities become more. You become more aggressive as a child. Aggressive as in you become more active. You start doing things. Your mind becomes that. Eventually, at some point, it is supposed to become more sattvic. The tamasic aspect is basically there now to ground you in some kind of a spiritual practice or some kind of a place. Like when I started meditating, I could not sit still for 2 minutes. I needed a stopwatch for time. After 12, almost 13, 14 years, today 2 hours and it's not a problem. But it has to build. So the idea is always the energies will want to naturally move up, but you need to create that environment. So I would say the only amazing aspect about aging is that as you age, you can actually decide how you want to grow old. You want to grow old
Who you want to be. It becomes a little more
in a
easier.
more vibrant manner. Your body might not be vibrant. Your body will still be maybe limping, wimping, all of that. But the feeling inside your body, your mind, your heart, your emotions will be so full of, I don't know, love is probably the only thing I can think of, that you will actually enjoy living.
You know, in every podcast, I give some kind of an assignment, some kind of reflection points or questions to my audiences. And in today's conversation, I just want to tell my audiences that you, at this point, ask yourself that who do you want to be? If you answer that simple question for yourself, it will align your physical fitness journey, it will align your mental health, it will align your relationships, it will align the choices that you're making for yourself today or are not making. Like we were talking about action and inaction both earlier behind the scenes, right? क्या आप action ले रहे हो वो ज़रूरी है, लेकिन आप क्या action नहीं ले रहे हो उसको समझना भी ज़रूरी, because both of these are going to have their own consequences, right? So that one question for everybody, you know, to pause in this conversation right now for a few minutes and literally think for yourself that who do you want to be, and then see what problems you're having in your life, particularly in fitness journeys. Today this episode is catering to that area of life. So in your fitness journey, what are the challenges those are coming, like the common questions? Am I not able to be consistent? What should I eat? How many times? This, that, exercise routine, sleep routine, whatever we've discussed in this entire conversation, right? So if you answer that who do you want to be, this will give a great indication of how your other questions need to be answered and what then eventually you need to do. So I think you know, that could be one question that people can go back home with from this conversation and kind of find for themselves and look for the answers. And like you said, eventually the answers appear, they come
Yeah,
to you.
eventually. I mean, either in this life or the next.
Mhm.
No, because it's true. I mean, there are a lot of people, and I see a lot of senior citizens as well, who till today uh, are still stuck. And I've spoken to a few, and they say, now it's too late to change. Even though we know that this is not the truth, it's too late to change. And you don't blame them because conditioning plays a very important aspect. The way you have thought and acted over a certain number of years literally forms your neural pathway. That is basically what habits and conditioning is, behavior is. So if in after 80 years you suddenly tell a person who's always been thinking about training and food and Ironmans and all of this and activity, tell him to start sitting down and doing pranayams and breath work and meditation, he will not be able to do it. So again, no judgment, but the truth will always stay the truth. And until and unless you don't think a little bit deeper, because somewhere everyone already realizes, and today, especially with the way the world is moving, Sanatan Dharma, the Indian culture, the spirituality has become such an important aspect of society, with everything in every direction. Kids are talking about it. Kids are now part of, spiritual groups, and they are talking and they are asking deeper questions. So clearly, the tide is changing. Clearly, there is some shift happening. So if this, using that word, motivates you to ask that deeper question, and even if you've asked it once, don't let it go. Chase, if any question is worth chasing, it's probably this question, that what is my purpose? Literally. And be at it. Be at it. I mean, again, if your environment allows you to, you will be able to. But until and unless you don't move yourself out of the environment and give yourself time to think about that question, it won't happen.
It's a beautiful segue that we've made into this conversation about purpose and finding yourself and trying to answer who you are, who you want to be. Now, I want to bring back this whole thing to the fitness conversation again, because that's what people are going to tune in to this conversation for. And rightly so, because you've been a poster boy for fitness, for a poster man, or for fitness for so many years, right? What is it that people are doing terribly wrong? Or what is the biggest mistake that you see people are making in their fitness journeys?
Obsession. Using the word addiction. Oh, at least I'm addicted to fitness. At least it's not drugs. Well, hello. Addiction is addiction. Because what does a fitness addict feel when he doesn't get to exercise? And what does a drug addict get to experience when he doesn't get the drugs? It's exactly the same. There is no difference between what happens inside the biochemistry of the body when you are an addict and you don't get what you want.
Basically, deprivation. When that happens to whatever your stimulus is,
Absolutely. So stop obsessing about it. Stop using the word I'm a fitness addict. You are not an
fitness
addict.
freak is the word.
Freak, then you'll what's amazing. I'm sorry, but everything comes back to a little bit deeper. There is, when we talk about energy, every single word that we say carries a certain energy. And I do this with my clients when I'm having conversation with my clients and they say something. I said, stop. You will never repeat this again. Why, but just for fun. No, this is not fun. The universe doesn't understand fun. The universe just understands what you uttered and the energy of that word. So if you can say, I'm a fitness lover. What is the harm in saying I'm a fitness lover? I love fitness. Rather than saying I'm a fitness freak or I'm a fitness, you're a freak. No, who wants to be a freak? No one wants to be a freak. You're not an addict either. You're a fitness lover. You love fitness. So even if you want to term yourself as something, at least use a more positive one.
More positive connotation. I think it's the right time for me to get into a question that is all about obsession, and that is six-pack abs. What is the truth behind six-pack abs? Is it an achievable goal for people?
Yes. I mean, come on. Everyone is born with it. All right. The only reason you can't see it is because of some choices you made and you have a layer of fat over it. And the only way to get rid of that fat is not by you physically trying to burn it, but by you giving your body the signals that you're safe and it is absolutely fine not for you to store excess and for you to burn what is there. Literally, it is as simple as that.
But how do you give your
That
body
is
the
why-
signal that you're safe?
Everything that we spoke about. You create signals in your entire day which signify safety.
Let's go through an entire day from the time a person wakes up, roughly.
So when
Somebody
you
goes to a
when you
job.
wake up in the morning, first thing, if you're married,
Safety
kids,
indicators.
whatever,
Yeah.
you look on the side, kids are fine, wife
So
is
let
fine,
me,
husband is fine.
just a second, Shivam. Let me rephrase this question first. That now I want to discuss the fitness markers that one can have. Like you said, that give your body the signal that you're safe. And then it'll start repairing itself, it'll start healing, it'll start growing, it'll start showing the results that you want to have. So take me through the safety indicators in a day? What are the points where one can feel safe, their body can feel safe so that it gets more fit?
So first and foremost, when you wake up in the morning, you turn to the side, your husband, your wife, your kids, your sibling, whoever. You see your family is safe. They're fine. This is what we do when we wake up. Before we put our feet down, we say a small prayer. We basically keep our hands together and we say Karagre Vasate Lakshmi, Karamadhye Saraswati, Karamule Sthita Gauri, Prabhate Kardarshanam. And we wipe the energy on our face. And then we say thank you. Thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you, Guru Nath. Thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you, Nath. And that's it. So being grateful that you're alive is a very big sign of safety. Taking nice deep breath. And this is not again a preaching thing. This is literally what we do every single day. Doesn't matter where we are. Then wake up. If you have access to sunlight, please go watch the sun. Very important, even from a sleep perspective. Watching the sun from 7 to 9, that red infrared, the red, orange, yellow light, it literally stimulates. It means it starts the production of melatonin in your hypothalamus and in your skin. When it gets dark, the melatonin starts getting released. So if melatonin is not what puts you to sleep, melatonin is what keeps you asleep. So if you want to stay asleep and sleep well, and you want your body to produce or release the right amount of melatonin, it will only release when there is production. And for production, it needs that morning sunlight. So get the sunlight. After you have the sunlight, brush your teeth, do your thing, whatever. Sit down for 5 minutes and just do 5 minutes of diaphragmatic breathing or anulom vilom or any breathing that tells your body you're safe. Any slow, deep breathing. Get on with your day. When you get on with your day, every single aspect, of course, right from the time that you sit down to eat your breakfast, you're getting to work. One very important aspect is what will always keep you from being stressed is try to be wherever you need to be 5 minutes early. Very important. Take traffic into account, take everything into account. If you have to leave 15 minutes before, leave 15 minutes before. But make sure, because then that stress of you being stuck in traffic and being late somewhere won't come up. So prepare, plan your day.
But
That's
you've
a good
not talked
safety.
about fitness or
नहीं,
exercise or
ये ब-
workout in
दिन
any of this.
दिन कहाँ चालू हुआ है? दिन
अच्छा, तो
चालू
दिन
तो होने
चालू
दो.
नहीं हुआ है.
दिन चालू
Okay.
तो होने दो. Then of course, people who are training in the morning, that's of course an ideal time to train rather than training in the evening. But if you don't have a choice, that's not a problem. Training again is a stressful activity, but it is just the right amount of stress that you need. So give your body the right kind of stress, give it the right weight training, a little bit of stretching, some cardio. You want to do 5 to 7 minutes of high intensity work, do that, not a problem. But nothing that destroys you. And after that is done, you need to take a moment and breathe again. You again need to calm the body down. Because you are now in a stressful environment, you again need to tell your system, it's okay.
I'm safe.
Relax, you're fine, rest. Then give it the food. Carbohydrates will help you manage the cortisol, bring the cortisol levels down, which means it will reduce stress as well. So have a nice carb meal with your protein shake or eggs or whatever you want to have after your first workout. Then your day goes on. And of course, you can't really control how other people behave with you, whether it's at work or whatever. But the least that you can do is you don't engage. If there is something that's bothering you, try not to engage. And if really it's bothering you, speak to someone. Don't suppress it. When you speak to someone, automatically it tells your body, yeah, there is somebody to share. It's fine.
No, you're safe.
You're safe. Food. Don't deprive yourself of food. Eat food in the right amount. You don't need to overeat it. And if you're fasting, you can fast like intermittent fasting. You can fast one day, eat the next day. Fast one day, eat the next day. So it kind of is a combined signal. And your body doesn't feel in a survival mode for too long.
So
Plus,
you're not shocking your body too much.
correct. And even if you're fasting, for the body basically to go into a shock mode or survival mode, something has to be consistent. So unless and until you're like doing it for excessively for a week, 2 weeks, then it's going to be bad. But if you're doing it 2 days of fasting, 1 day of eating, or 5 days of fasting, 2 days of eating, absolutely fine.
So basically, what you're saying is that keep it very simple.
Keep it simple. And then most important, come back home, spend time with your family. Give them a hug. Tell them I love you. Very important. I don't think couples tell each other I love you as much as they should. They only tell their kids. When the kids are born, they forget about the better half. Tell your better half I love you. Hold the hand. Give them a hug. Contact is again the most important aspect of feeling safe. And contact doesn't only mean with your girlfriend or boyfriend or kids, with your wife, with your husband, all of that. So give them a hug, tell them I love you, whatever, thank you. And then again, before going to bed, a little bit of breath work to calm yourself down. And again, thanking the universe for an amazing day. Thank you. It was a beautiful day. Thank you for everything. And go to bed.
So it takes very small, simple steps, some sort of a preparation to launch yourself into a good day, and some sort of a
Yes.
preparation to launch yourself into a good night's sleep.
Of course.
Right? And these are very basic, simple things that everybody can do, that everybody can access. It just needs a very strong why from your end so that you stay dedicated to that practice, whether it's a prayer or breath work or gratitude practice, whatever you're doing. But these all are the indicators to yourself that you are safe. And we've discussed safety and threat and how body responds to
And
both
then
in a
you
great
watch, and I
length
swear
earlier.
to you, you smile. I'm not kidding. I tell all my clients, I say, smile. You smile and you watch the fat just go. It's not magic. It's actually science. The more you smile, the more you'll burn fat.
So there is a connection between happiness and fat loss.
Absolutely.
What is that
Same
connection?
thing. Happiness is the same. What is it? What is happiness making your body feel? Fat, when we spoke about energy, muscle is vibrating at a very high frequency because it's actually alive. Fat is actually vibrating at a very low frequency because it's stagnant. It's not really lazy, but it's just stagnant. The minute you improve or increase the energy of your body by improving muscle mass, improving by sound, improving it by chants, improving it by breath work, by sunlight, by a thought process, automatically the lower energy will just vanish away. I think I can say it's proper quantum science about energy.
Very, beautifully explained, Shivoham, and people who are listening to this can take this conversation as a reminder to how much of their holistic well-being they need to take care of, not just the physical health aspect of it. Now, you've been in the fitness industry for over 2 decades now, Shivoham. If you have to suggest one exercise to people that will keep them fit or they should not skip, what would that be?
Breathe and smile.
So it's not lift these many weights, it's not squats, it's not lunges, it's not any of that, right?
That's a very small part of it. If you don't breathe properly, if you don't smile, if you're not happy, even your training will suffer. And people have seen this, no? You have a fight with somebody, you have an argument with somebody, you're tired, you're not breathing properly, you're not able to perform in the gym. So be happy, no? Be happy, smile, say thank you as many times to the universe, say I love you as many times to your partner and kids. And then just watch your blood parameters, your HRV, and all of that just improve.
Shivam, now we are going towards the end of this conversation, and one question that I ask all of my guests is their definition of success. So, strictly from a fitness standpoint, what is the idea of success, or what should be the idea of success, or how do you see it?
If you can sleep well at night, wake up with a smile, go to bed with a smile, I think that's
That's all the fitness you need in your
no,
life.
because technically, think about it. When you're going to bed, doesn't matter who it is. At that point, does it really matter how many crores are there in your bank? Does it matter how many cars are there in your garage? At that point, nothing matters. Nothing. Only thing that matters is I'm going to bed and I just want to sleep. And literally. So if you can sleep and if you can smile every moment, then I don't smile in the gym. People will tell you that. They get scared to talk to me in the gym because they think I'm quite strict and arrogant. But yes, that's my time. I don't want to talk to anybody in the gym. I've come here for my workout. But otherwise, we will smile all the time. No problem.
Beautiful. I think we have covered fitness from a very holistic standpoint in this episode, and that's the idea of the Journey Within podcast also, and it is funny that without even trying, how every guest who comes here, we've done almost 200 episodes now, who comes here talks something which is directly about the journey within, which is directly about understanding who you are, which is directly about how you think about your life, how you think about the events that happen to you, the experiences that you engage in, how that builds your perspective about life, and how these deeper questions you need to reflect on to stabilize whatever areas of your life. Today we are talking about fitness, it could be finances, it could be relationship, it could be XYZ, right? Purpose, spirituality, etc., etc. So it is just so beautiful for me to also, engage in these conversations that take me back to the whole idea of the journey within, and why we started. And every episode kind of decodes my purpose also for myself. And I hope the audiences are connecting to, with these conversations, and they are able to find for themselves these deeper answers and starting any of the journey, whether career journey, fitness journey, relationship journey, from those deeper answers, from that very core idea of who I want to be in this relationship, who I want to be in this career, who I want to be as a fit person, and things like that. Thank you, Shivoham, for
you.
coming over, sharing your
Thank
time
you.
with me, and imparting so much of wisdom, and also your lived experiences through the fitness journey, through the clients that you have trained. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Now, to the viewers, I'm sure this conversation has helped you to kind of take your fitness journeys with a little more responsibility, adding that element of who you want to be again. I'm going to leave you with that question today, because that is something that I'm going back to in my head over and over again. Answer that for yourself. If you want to share your answers in the comment section, please do that. Support the channel if you like the work that we are doing here. This whole channel, this whole podcast, which has about 200 episodes now, is all about helping you better your lives, helping you live your best life. And we do that by helping you go to these deeper questions, right? Subscribe to the channel, like, comment, and share, so that these conversations can reach to many more people who are looking for these. In fact, I would encourage you to share this conversation with your friends or family who are at the cusp of starting their fitness journeys, or who are already into their fitness journeys and have made a big deal about it. That's it. Thank you for tuning in today. I'll see you in the next one.